The Final Battle by Kinsley Dean. Disclaimer: this sound design project contains subjects of blood, war, violence, death, and immense grief. If these subjects bother you, please do not listen. The cold morning sky blazed crimson. The wind bit against my face. My fingers tightened around my sword hilt, the leather familiar beneath my grip. The only sounds were the horses, getting tenser by the moment, and the crows, a grim reminder and an omen of what was to come. Death. The enemy forces crested the hill ahead. They were within our range now. The horn of war sounded. We started our march, and with our commander's cry, we began to charge toward our enemy.
To war for glory!
I met warrior after warrior. I danced, parried, and slashed through enemies. Each swing a testament to my strength and skill. Each movement was instinct, each strike an extension of my will. Just when it seemed the tide was turning in our favor, a shrill scream tore above the clash that made my heart seize. My mother, the queen, was standing alone atop a distant hill we used to view the advantage in the battle. She had been a pillar of strength, unshaken even as arrows fell around her, until now. A dark figure appeared at her side, swift as a shadow and just as cold. My heart felt frozen in my chest as I watched her begin to fight. Her movements precise and controlled, the way she had taught me. No! The word ripped from my throat, raw and broken, my voice barely carrying over the battle. My feet felt too heavy, too slow as I began to make my way to her. I ran through the crush of bodies. I tore through every enemy in my path. I cut through the remaining foes with the fury of 1,000 storms. Desperation fueling my every step. They fell around me, but I barely registered them. My only focus on reaching her. I saw the moment when her guard faltered, a single breath too slow. The shadow's blade struck. She staggered, her sword arm faltering, and in that split second, I struck again and again. Everything around me, the clashing of swords, the shouts of soldiers, even the pain in my own body faded to a dull, distant hum. The world narrowing to my mother, falling to the earth.
Mom! No. Please! Wake up! Please! Mom! No! Please! Wake up! Please!
As I finally reached her, the dark shadow had vanished. I shook my head. My throat felt like it was full of stones. Every breath became sharp as shallow gasps. I dropped to my knees and clutched her body to me tight. My hands trembled as I cradled her head.
Please!
Her skin is already cooling beneath my fingers, the life leaving her with each second that ticks by, and all I could do was hold on tighter, as if I could somehow keep her here just by refusing to let go. My body shook as I cradled her face, whispering things to gods and powerful beings I couldn't even understand myself. Tears streamed down my face as the reality of it settled rolled over me like a storm. She was gone, but she couldn't leave me. Not now. She was the queen, the unbreakable force that led us all together.
Please.
I can't breathe. I can't think beyond the numb horror of her absence. Without her, I feel like nothing, like a hollow shell with no idea of how to go on. I feel as if I'm breaking under the weight of it all, shattering into pieces too small to ever gather back together. As I knelt there, broken and battered, with her hands resting on my shoulder, the world feeling like it was falling apart. But even through this unbearable grief and this hollowness, I can feel her presence. Her voice of all her teachings, urging me to stand, even in death. And I find myself breathing again. For her, I cling to that small ember of her, letting it steady me, letting it shape the raw grief into something else, something fierce. My body trembles as I slowly rise, feeling every ache and bruise, every tear and crack in my body and spirit. But I rise, slowly, feeling as if I'm lifting the weight of the world broken in two. Anchoring myself to the ground that holds the memory of my mother's last day. I wipe the tears from my face, feeling the wet streaks mix with the dust and blood, remnants of the battle I must still finish. With a steadying breath, I lift my sword high, its weight a familiar friend, its purpose suddenly clearer than ever before. I charge forward, my heart pounding with a fierce resolve.